My grandmother left me everything. My parents sued me. Here is what happened in court. Let me tell you about the woman who saved my life and then gave me the means to build a new one. My grandmother, Eleanor, was born in 1945 in a small town in Connecticut. She grew up during the war. Her father was a factory worker. Her mother was a nurse. They didn't have much, but they had each other. She married my grandfather, Harold, in 1965. He was a mechanic. She was a secretary. They bought a small house on Maple Street in Hartford. 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, a porch that sagged in the middle. They lived in that house for 50 years. My grandfather died in 1999. Heart attack. I was 7 years old. I remember the funeral. My mother cried. My aunts and uncles cried. My grandmother didn't. She just sat there, holding his hand, looking at his face. After the funeral, she pulled me aside. Your grandfather loved you very much, she said. I know. He said you were special, different from the others. The others? Your cousins. Your siblings. They are loud, needy. They take without giving. But you're a giver. Don't ever lose that. I didn't understand what she meant then. I was 7. I just knew that my grandmother smelled like lavender and tea, and that her hugs were the safest place in the world. My parents, Patricia and Richard, were not like my grandmother. They were cold, critical, never satisfied. I was the middle child. 2 older siblings. 2 younger. I was invisible. Not smart enough for my mother. Not athletic enough for my father. Not popular enough for my siblings. My mother told me I was a disappointment when I was 12. I had gotten a B on a math test. A B, she said. Your sister got an A. It was a hard test. Excuses. That's all you have. Excuses. My father said nothing. He never said anything. My siblings ignored me. They had their own lives, their own friends, their own problems. I spent most of my childhood at my grandmother's house, on Maple Street, in the small house with the sagging porch. She taught me how to garden, how to cook, how to save money, how to invest. Most people spend what they have, she said. But the wealthy invest what they have. Be wealthy, Ethan. Not in things. In freedom. She showed me her bank statements when I was 16. I was shocked. Where did all this money come from? Your grandfather and I saved. Invested. We lived below our means. We didn't buy things we didn't need. We let compound interest do the work. How much is there? Enough. Enough to help you. Enough to help the others. But they don't know about it. And I'm not telling them. Why not? Because they'll ask for it. Demand it. Fight over it. I've seen it happen in other families. I won't let it happen in mine. She made me promise not to tell anyone. I kept that promise for years. My grandmother got sick when I was 21. Cancer. Pancreatic. Aggressive. The doctors gave her 6 months. She called me from the hospital. Ethan, come see me. I drove from Boston, where I was in college, to Hartford. 3 hours. I made it in 2. She was in a private room. Her hair was gone. Her skin was yellow, but her eyes were still sharp. Sit down, she said. I sat. I'm dying. I know. Don't cry. I've had a good life. A long life. But I need to tell you something important. The money. Yes. I'm leaving it all to you. I was shocked. What about Mom? What about Uncle Robert? What about Aunt Margaret? They've never loved me. They've loved what I could give them. Your mother hasn't visited me in 2 years. Your uncle calls me once a month to ask about the will. Your aunt pretends to care, but she's already planning her share. They'll fight it. I know. That's why I prepared. She pointed to a lockbox under her bed. In that box, you'll find everything. Bank statements, investment records, deeds, a video of me stating my wishes clearly. 2 doctors witnessed it. They'll testify if needed. Grandma, don't argue with me. This is my decision. You're the only one who deserves it. You're the only one who loved me for me. I held her hand. I cried. She didn't. Be strong, Ethan. They're going to come after you. Your mother, your uncle, your aunt, your cousins. They're going to call you names. Accuse you of manipulating me. Sue you. Harass you. Don't back down. I won't. Promise me. I promise. She died 3 days later. I was holding her hand when she took her last breath. The nurse came in. She turned off the machines. She covered my grandmother's face. I sat there for an hour, holding her hand. Even though she was gone, she was the only person in my family who ever believed in me. And now she was gone. I was alone. The funeral was at the same church where my grandmother had been baptized, where she had married my grandfather, where she had buried him. The church was full. Family, friends, neighbors, people who hadn't seen her in years but came to pay their respects. My mother, Patricia, was the first to arrive. She was wearing black, expensive black. She had spent more on her dress than she had spent on my grandmother in the last year. She cried loudly, dramatically. My mother, my beautiful mother. She hadn't visited in 2 years. My father, Richard, stood behind her, silent, as always. Uncle Robert arrived next. He was my mother's older brother, 60 years old, entitled, angry. He had been fired from 3 jobs. He blamed everyone but himself. Aunt Margaret came with him. She was the youngest, 55, gossip, liar. She had spread rumors about me to the rest of the family for years. My cousins arrived. Jessica, Robert's daughter, 30, jealous. She had always resented me because I went to college and she didn't. Michael, Margaret's son, 28, entitled. He had never worked a full-time job in his life. My siblings were there too. My older sister, Amanda. My older brother, Christopher. My younger sister, Rachel. My younger brother, Daniel. They ignored me. As always. I sat in the back row. Alone. The service was nice. The pastor said kind things about my grandmother. He talked about her faith, her kindness, her generosity. He didn't talk about her money. He didn't know about it. After the service, we went to the cemetery. The grave was next to my grandfather's, the same spot where they had planned to be buried together. The pallbearers lowered the casket. The pastor said a final prayer. My mother threw dirt on the casket. Rest in peace, Mother. Uncle Robert threw dirt. Aunt Margaret threw dirt. I threw dirt last. I didn't say anything. I just threw the dirt and walked away. The reception was at my grandmother's house. The small house on Maple Street. The same house where I had spent so many happy afternoons. Everyone was there. Eating, drinking, talking. I stood in the corner, watching. My mother was talking to Uncle Robert, whispering, pointing at me. Aunt Margaret was talking to Jessica, whispering, glancing at me. My cousins were huddled together, laughing, looking at me with cold eyes. No one talked to me. No one offered me food. No one offered me a drink. I was invisible, as always, but not for long. The reading of the will was scheduled for the next day. At a law firm in downtown Hartford. Everyone would be there. Everyone would hear the truth. And then the war would begin. The law firm was on the 10th floor of a glass building in downtown Hartford. The conference room was large. A long table. Leather chairs. A view of the city. Everyone was there. My mother. My father. Uncle Robert. Aunt Margaret. All 4 of my siblings. Both of my cousins. The family lawyer, Mr. Collins. I sat at the end of the table. Alone. The lawyer representing the estate was a woman named Ms. Chun. She was in her 40s. Sharp. Efficient. Thank you all for coming, she said. I'll now read the last will and testament of Eleanor Thompson. She read the standard language, the formalities, the legal terms. Then she got to the assets. The house on Maple Street, Hartford, Connecticut. The contents therein. The vacant land behind the house. A brokerage account. 2 savings accounts. A certificate of deposit. Total value, approximately $2.4 million. The room went silent. No one knew it was that much. Not even me. These assets are left to Ethan Thompson. Solely. No other beneficiaries. The room exploded. That's impossible. My mother screamed, standing up. She was old. She didn't know what she was doing. The will was executed 6 months ago, Ms. Chun said calmly. She was of sound mind. 2 doctors witnessed it. There's also a video recording of her stating her wishes. I want to see it, Uncle Robert said. Ms. Chun played the video. My grandmother appeared on the screen. She was in the hospital. Her hair was gone. Her skin was yellow. But her eyes were sharp. I, Eleanor Thompson, of sound mind and body, declare this to be my last will and testament. She listed the assets. She listed the beneficiaries. I am leaving everything to my grandson, Ethan Thompson. He has been a source of joy and comfort to me. He visited me when others did not. He loved me when others pretended. This is my choice. Freely made. Without coercion. The video ended. My mother was crying. Not sad tears. Angry tears. He manipulated her. There's no evidence of manipulation, Ms. Chun said. He's been poisoning her against us for years. Again, no evidence. I want to contest the will, Uncle Robert said. You have that right. But I advise against it. The will is strong. The evidence is clear. I don't care. I'm hiring a lawyer. Me too, Aunt Margaret said. My siblings said nothing. They looked at me. They looked away. My cousins glared at me. Jessica whispered something to Michael. Michael nodded. I stood up. If you want to sue me, sue me. But I'll see you in court. I walked out. I didn't look back. The lawsuit came 3 months later. My mother, Uncle Robert, and Aunt Margaret were the plaintiffs. My siblings and cousins were listed as interested parties. They hired Mr. Collins, the family lawyer. He was cheap. He was confident. He was wrong. I hired Mr. Harrison. He was expensive. He was experienced. He had never lost a will contest. This is a strong case, he said. The video is powerful. The doctor's testimony is powerful. Your grandmother's statements are clear. Can we lose? Anything is possible, but it's unlikely. They have no evidence. Just anger and entitlement. I want to fight. Then we'll fight. The legal battle lasted 2 years. The first year was depositions. Question and answer sessions under oath. Everyone was deposed. Me, my mother, Uncle Robert, Aunt Margaret, my siblings, my cousins, the doctors, the neighbors. Mr. Collins asked me questions for 6 hours. Did you ever ask your grandmother for money? No. Did you ever suggest that she change her will? No. Did you ever isolate her from the rest of the family? She isolated herself. They didn't visit. Did you ever threaten her? No. Did you ever manipulate her? No. Mr. Collins was frustrated. He had nothing. Mr. Harrison deposed my mother. When did you last visit your mother before her hospitalization? I don't remember. Was it within the last year? No. The last 2 years? No. The last 5 years? No. So you didn't visit your dying mother for at least 5 years. She was busy. I was busy. But you found time to come to the reading of the will. Of course. And you found time to file a lawsuit? Yes. But you didn't find time to visit her. Objection. Sustained. But the point was made. Mr. Harrison deposed Uncle Robert. You testified that your mother was not of sound mind. Are you a medical doctor? No. Are you a psychiatrist? No. Are you a neurologist? No. So you have no medical training whatsoever? No. On what basis do you claim she was not a sound mind? She was old. She had cancer. She wasn't thinking clearly. Did her doctors testify that she was a sound mind? Yes. But you know better than her doctors. I know my mother. You hadn't seen her in 3 years. Objection. Sustained. But the point was made. The second year was the trial. Probate court in Hartford. Judge Williams presiding. She was in her 60s. Gray hair. Glasses. She had been a probate judge for 20 years. She had seen everything. The trial lasted 2 weeks. My mother testified first. She cried. She pointed at me. He stole my mother from me. Mr. Harrison cross-examined. Mrs. Thompson, when did you last speak to your mother before her hospitalization? I don't remember. Was it within the last year? I don't remember. Your deposition says you hadn't spoken to her in 3 years. That was a mistake. The deposition was under oath. I was confused. Are you confused now? No. How many times did you visit your mother in the hospital? Twice. Her medical records show you visited once. For 15 minutes. I was busy. Your mother was dying. I had work. Mr. Harrison sat down. The damage was done. Uncle Robert testified next. He was angry. Loud. My mother was manipulated. Ethan controlled her. Do you have any evidence of manipulation? Mr. Harrison asked. It's obvious. Evidence, Mr. Thompson. Not feelings. Evidence. I don't have evidence. But it's true. So you're asking the court to believe your feelings over the testimony of 2 doctors, a video recording, and your mother's own words? She wasn't herself. The doctors say she was. The doctors are liars. Objection. Sustained. The judge looked at Uncle Robert with cold eyes. Dr. Simmons testified next. He was my grandmother's primary care physician. He had treated her for 15 years. Was Eleanor Thompson of sound mind when she executed her will? Yes. Completely. She was alert. Oriented. She knew what she had. She knew who she wanted to give it to. Did anyone pressure her? No. She was very clear that this was her decision. She said, and I quote, Ethan is the only one who loves me. The rest can fight over scraps. My mother gasped. Uncle Robert stood up. Aunt Margaret started crying. Judge Williams banged her gavel. Order. The video was played again. My grandmother's face on the screen. Her voice. Her words. I am leaving everything to my grandson, Ethan Thompson. This is my choice. Freely made. Without coercion. When the video ended, the courtroom was silent. Judge Williams looked at Mr. Collins. Do you have any rebuttal witnesses? No, Your Honor. Does the plaintiff have any evidence of undue influence? No, Your Honor. Does the plaintiff have any evidence that Eleanor Thompson was not a sound mind? No, Your Honor. Judge Williams took off her glasses. She looked at my mother. Uncle Robert. Aunt Margaret. I have been a probate judge for 20 years. I have seen hundreds of will contests. Most of them are exactly like this one. A family member feels entitled to an inheritance that was not left to them. They claim undue influence. They claim lack of capacity. They bring no evidence. Just anger and entitlement. She looked at me. This court finds that the last will and testament of Eleanor Thompson is valid. The assets are to be distributed to Ethan Thompson, as stated in the will. The plaintiff's claims are denied. The defendant's request for legal fees is granted. The plaintiffs are ordered to pay the defendant's legal fees in the amount of $47,000. My mother screamed. Uncle Robert slammed his fist on the table. Aunt Margaret fainted. My siblings stared at me. My cousins glared at me. I sat still. I didn't smile. I didn't cry. I just sat. The bailiff escorted my family out of the courtroom. Mr. Harrison shook my hand. Congratulations. You won. It doesn't feel like winning. That's because you lost your grandmother. The money doesn't replace her. No, it doesn't. But it gives you freedom. Use it well. I will. I walked out of the courthouse. The sun was shining. The air was cold. It was February. I was 24 years old. I had $2.4 million. I had no family. I was free. I moved to Boston 3 months after the trial. I needed a fresh start. Somewhere far from Hartford. Far from my family. Far from the memories. I found a small apartment in Cambridge. Near Harvard Square. Old building. Hardwood floors. A window that looked out at the Charles River. It wasn't fancy, but it was mine. I took 6 months off. I didn't work. I didn't study. I just existed. I walked around the city. I visited museums. I read books. I went to coffee shops and watched people. I was healing. Dr. Reynolds, my therapist in Hartford, connected me with a colleague in Boston. Dr. Patel. She was in her 40s. Kind. Patient. She helped me process the grief, the anger, the loneliness. You've lost your grandmother, she said. And you've lost your family. Even though they were toxic, they were still your family. It's okay to grieve that loss. I don't miss them. You miss the idea of them. The family you wish you had. She was right. I missed the family I never had. After 6 months, I started thinking about the future. What did I want to do? Who did I want to be? I had always been good with numbers. My grandmother taught me about investing, about compound interest, about building wealth. I decided to start a financial planning business, helping young people, people like me, people who didn't come from money, people who needed guidance. I took a small office in Cambridge. 1 room, a desk, a computer, a phone. The first year was hard. I had a few clients. Not many. I made mistakes. I learned. The second year was better. More clients. More referrals. More income. The third year, I hired my first employee, a young woman named Sarah. She had just graduated from college. She was smart, ambitious, kind. She became my business partner, then my girlfriend, then my wife. I met Sarah at a coffee shop. She was reading a book. I asked her what she was reading. She told me. I said I love that author. She said no one loved that author. We talked for 2 hours. She didn't know about my past at first. She didn't know about the inheritance, the lawsuit, the family. She just knew me, the me I was becoming, not the me I had been. I told her about my grandmother on our 10th date, about the will, about the trial, about losing my family. She listened. She held my hand. That's terrible, she said. You didn't deserve any of that. I know. Are you okay? I am now. We got married 2 years later. Small ceremony. A few friends. No family. Sarah's parents came. They were kind, welcoming. They treated me like a son. I cried at the wedding. Not because I was sad. Because I was happy. Happier than I had ever been. We bought a house in Brookline. A small one. But ours. We had a daughter 2 years after that. Olivia. She has her mother's eyes and my stubbornness. I hold her at night and think about my grandmother. I wish she could have met Olivia. I wish she could have seen what her money made possible. Not the money itself, the freedom, the opportunity, the life I built. That was her gift to me. Not $2.4 million. A chance to become someone new. It's been 10 years since the trial. 8 years since I moved to Boston. 5 years since I married Sarah. 3 years since Olivia was born. I am 34 years old. I have a wife, a daughter, a home, a business, a life. I am happy. My mother, Patricia, is still in Hartford. She lives in a small apartment. Her credit is destroyed. Her savings are gone. She spent everything on legal fees and bad investments. She doesn't talk to me. She told the family I was dead to her. That's fine. She was dead to me first. My father, Richard, left her 2 years ago. He moved to Florida. He lives in a retirement community. He plays golf. He doesn't talk to anyone. Uncle Robert is in prison. Not because of me, because of fraud. He was running a scam. The FBI caught him. He's serving 5 years. Aunt Margaret is alone. Her husband left her. Her son, Michael, stopped talking to her. She lives in a small town in Rhode Island. She works at a dollar store. My siblings are scattered. Amanda is in California. She's a real estate agent. She's doing okay. Christopher is in Texas. He works in sales. He's struggling. Rachel is in New York. She's a nurse. She's happy. Daniel is in Florida with my father. He's lost. Confused. He never found his way. My cousins are struggling. Jessica is divorced. She lives with her mother. She works at a call center. Michael was arrested for DUI. He lost his license. He lost his job. They all blame me for their problems. They say I stole their inheritance, that I ruined their lives. I didn't steal anything. My grandmother gave me a gift. They were never entitled to it. They just thought they were. I don't hate them. I don't love them. I don't think about them. They are strangers who share my DNA. Nothing more. I visit my grandmother's grave once a year. On the anniversary of her death. I bring flowers. I sit on the grass. I talk to her. I did it, Grandma, I say. I build a life. A good life. I have a wife. A daughter. A business. I'm happy. I like to think she hears me. I kept the house on Maple Street. I couldn't sell it. Too many memories. I rent out now. A young family lives there. They have 2 kids. They remind me of me. I kept some of my grandmother's things. Her rocking chair. Her recipe box. Her Bible. They're in my house in Brookline. In the living room. Where I can see them every day. Olivia knows about her great-grandmother. I show her pictures. I tell her stories. She was the kindest person I ever knew, I say. And she believed in me when no one else did. Olivia doesn't understand yet. She's 3, but she will. If you're watching this and you're in a toxic family, I want you to know something. You don't have to stay. You don't have to accept cruelty. You don't have to keep the peace at the expense of your own peace. Family is not about blood. Family is about love. About loyalty. About people who show up for you when you need them. My grandmother was my family. Sarah is my family. Olivia is my family. My friends, the ones who stuck with me through the trial, the ones who helped me build my business, the ones who came to my wedding. They're my family. My mother, my father, my uncle, my aunt, my siblings, my cousins. They're not my family. They are my relatives. There's a difference. I didn't choose to be born into that family, but I chose to leave. I chose to build something new. I chose to find people who loved me for who I am, not for what I could give them. The inheritance was a gift, but the real gift was freedom. Freedom from their expectations, their lies, their cruelty. I used that freedom to build a life. A good life. A happy life. You can too. You don't need $2.4 million. You need courage. You need determination. You need to believe that you deserve better. Because you do. You deserve to be loved. You deserve to be respected. You deserve to be happy. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Thanks for listening. Subscribe to his Reddit tales for more stories of inheritance, legal battles, and building a life from nothing. And if you have a grandmother who loves you, call her. Visit her. Hold her hand. You don't know how much time you have.